shall we get started? It's wonderful to have you all together. It's fantastic to be able to do this across the world. Fantastic. And we'll be working in our 5 teams and so on. On the first slide, we must acknowledge the support we've had from the Great Britain Sasakawa Foundation, Mitsubishi Electric, Kyoto University of Education, and the Japan Women's Association in Great Britain, all of whom have given us funds, and Barclays, who've been helping to support some of the Japanese side in sort of training before coming here. So it's really, really good to be able to acknowledge them. So before we start, I gather, Mr. Sako, Sako, you have your principal and vice principal looking in as well. Is that right?
Yes.
Would you like to introduce?
At least our principal is somewhere, but I can't find. But our vice principal is here.
Okay. This is from the Kyoto University of Education attached senior high school, right?
Yeah, right.
Just if they could both just say hello, or will one say hello?
I can't.
Oh, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. They could say that later.
He will come later, but our principal will come later.
Yeah, okay. So could you put the slide back again, Toshio? So could we go on to the second slide? This is what we do today. A little welcome. This is UK and Japan time there. I'm Eric Albone. I started all this thing going in about 2001. And this is the first time could that person mute, please? We started all this in the year 2001 in this format. And this is the first time ever we've done it online or attempted to, and we must, beginning, thank Mary Grace Browning and Toshio Nomura for putting a huge amount of effort into this, and also Ian Price. So this is what we're up to today. We're privileged to have Jenny White, the Chief Executive of Great Britain Sasakawa Foundation, with us, who will speak briefly, welcoming us. And then some introductions from the key organizers, and then some welcoming speeches from the students and the representative students, from teachers and students from Japan, representative speeches. And then a little talk by Ryo Mizuta, who is a facilitator in Project One, but also is an old friend and a fantastic, he's just coming up to his doctorate to his viva. He's completed his doctorate in engineering in Cambridge and so on. So that's what we're up to. And could I just now hand over to Jenny White.
Hello. Wow, hello everyone, and konnichiwa, minasama, to everybody for the start of an exciting week of curiosity, discovery and experiment. And I know particularly that a lot of hard work has gone on behind the scenes to make this happen today. And the Great Britain Sasakawa Foundation are delighted to support these workshops. I'm amazed by the diversity of the subject. You've got everything there from science communication to nuclear to cell to, I mean, it's just extraordinary. I'm amazed by the diversity of the subject, and also what is evidently the collaborative work that's gone on for many weeks beforehand, culminating in this, this week of workshops. And I'm sure this workshop, I know it's been held in difficult circumstances. It's a new experiment indeed to be online, but I'm impressed by the collaboration, as I said before, by the number of women scientists, and also by the intergenerational. We have all ages here and all spectrums here working together in a spirit of collaboration and experiment, which is absolutely amazing. So I'm sure this workshop will mark the start of many innovations and solutions to meet shared global challenges, because that's what we're all here for. And it will kickstart, I'm sure, many future careers. So it just remains for me to say that I'm impressed, you're unstoppable, and good luck to all. Ganbatte kudasai. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much, Jenny. It's lovely to have you with us.
Thank you.
Now we have a little slot for introducing the key organizers and any organizational matters before we go on. Key organizers have been Toshio Nomura. Are there any points you want to raise, Toshio?
Just I'm sure that everybody is doing that. Could you keep your mic muted until you speak out? Thank you.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay.
If it's necessary, I will translate. But
yes,
I think so far it's all right.
Yeah. Mary Grace Browning, would you like to say something?
Yes, good morning, everybody. 日本の方々、こんにちは. I won't take up too much time by saying too much, but I just wish everybody a really good time during this workshop. Please enjoy yourselves while having a great time scientifically.
Thank you, Mary Grace. And is Ian around? Does he want to say anything? Ian is our technical person.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. Good morning. Yeah, welcome to this international forum. Fingers crossed everything will go well. And I'm here to help if there are any technical issues.
You're the fallback person.
All right, yes, you're welcome.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, so we have some little introductory speeches from representative students and teachers in both countries. I think Kokone Matsura is going to start.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello everyone, I'm Kokone Matsura from Senior High School attached to Kyoto University of Education. I'm going to talk about two topics. First, the reason why I participate in this workshop. As I promised, I like to speak English and I want to improve my English communication skill. Also, I want to study abroad in the future, so I think the experience of this workshop will be useful. Second, but I want to learn from this workshop. I'm in some extracurricular activities of thinking about social problems. Because we sometimes come to a deadlock, I would like to learn how to deal with difficult problems. Lastly, I'm very looking forward to the active discussion. So next, Mr. Yoshimoto, please.
Thank you very much. And I think you're joined by Ray Yoshimoto.
Okay, I have been looking forward to this Monday. This project is the first activity I have done online, but I want to succeed. The UK is the first country where the Industrial Revolution occurred. Japan is one of the most industrialized countries in the world. These two countries can achieve great results by working together. Over this week, we Japanese may have difficulties about science and English. However, I believe we can make it. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much. Very, very good. Mr. Takayoshi Sako from the Kyoto University of Education Attached Senior High School, a colleague of many years standing. Would you like to say something?
I'm sorry, the bell is ringing at my school. So until the bell rings, I'm not starting the address.
Do you want to take it in different?
Oh yeah, okay. The bell just finished ringing, so
Okay.
it's time to say something. Right. And after the great speeches from my students, I feel a little bit nervous, but it's okay. So thank you. Thank you for the introduction. Good morning and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, teachers and students. My name is Takayoshi Sako, co-organizer of this workshop in collaboration with Dr. Eric Albon from Clifton Scientific Trust. On behalf of the Kyoto team and the Japan team, I would like to say a few words. 3 years ago, the 2018 UK-Japan Young Scientist Workshop was held in the University of Cambridge. All the students and teachers, including myself, who participated in it had a wonderful time, and the workshop made a great contribution to science education in both two countries. Back in 2019, the workshop was held here in Japan at Kyoto University and Kyoto University of Education. All the participants worked very hard in the incredible summer heat in Kyoto and had a fulfilling week. Since so many people have already talked about the significance of this workshop and its huge impact on you, I would like to explain a little bit about the possible outcome of high school students from Japan and the UK getting together and having a lively discussion on science. According to Dr. Michael Byron, a leading researcher in the field of intercultural education, the concept of intercultural communicative competence can be divided into the following 4 components. 1, knowledge. 2, attitude. 3, skills, which are further divided into the skills of interpreting and relating, and the skills of discovery and interaction. And the last one, critical cultural awareness. Here, critical cultural awareness may be a somewhat unfamiliar concept to you. Let me try to explain it a little more. It means to be able to compare, contrast, and verify without prejudice the standards and perspectives of various cultures when critically and analytically evaluating the subject matter that you are confronting. To derive norms of judgment on which you can base your judgment, and at the same time to accept those who differ from you in terms of the ways of thinking, and to negotiate objectively and calmly toward a solution when contradictions or conflicts arise. Okay, does it sound a little bit too difficult for you? All right, I should emphasize one thing. The word critical does not mean simply criticizing others without careful consideration or complaining about or speaking ill of others. Rather, it means the ability to recognize the difference between your own opinion and that of the other person, and to honestly change your opinion when you admit that your idea is wrong. I'm convinced that this is a kind of ability that you can develop through the interactions in this workshop. While being aware of the existence of others and being empathetic about their opinions and trying to understand them based on the principles of charity, you can also critically examine the assumptions and framework of your own understanding and express yourself while respecting others. If you are able to do this, I believe you will be successful in whatever future path you are going to take. I hope this workshop will be a fruitful one for us all. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Sako. Dylan Horton, I think, has some words.
Yes, the quality may be quite bad, but we're in an echoey room, so it might not sound amazing. I'm going to be speaking in Japanese and then in English, hopefully.
Okay.
僕はトマス・ハーディ学校のディラン・ホントンです。僕はイギリスの生徒代表として今このスピーチをしています。皆さんようこそ日本とイギリスのバチェラーサイエンスエクスチェンジへ。そしてこの日本とイギリスのバチェラーサイエンスエクスチェンジに一緒にできることを楽しみにしています。今回、僕らイギリスと日本の他の学校の生徒たちが一緒になって教室の外で科学を学べることがとても楽しみです。また、国の文化が違う人たちが同じ目的が向かって学べることもとても楽しいです。残念ながら、今回はバーチャルインターネットを使っての交流ですが、それにめげずに私たちはできる限り一生懸命この与えられた機会を頑張りたいと思っています。 Minasan yokoso onegaishimasu. And I'll say it in English. My name is Dylan Hornton from the Thomas Hardy School, and I'm speaking on behalf of the UK students and welcome you to this UK/Japan virtual science workshop. I'm looking forward to working with UK and Japanese students from other schools and taking science outside the classroom and into the real world. I look forward to meeting people from a culture very different from the UK and learning together towards a common goal. Although virtual, we will still be working very hard to make the most of the opportunity we've been given. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed, Dylan. And a British teacher, Mr. Patrick Humans.
Okay, thank you, Eric. I feel very humble after that speech because I don't have any Japanese other than to say konnichiwa. You're all very welcome this morning. So I'm going to start formally and say, ladies and gentlemen, project leaders, fellow teachers, facilitators, and all the students that are here from UK and Japan, can I just extend my own very warm welcome to you all. My name is Pat Humans. I'm head of chemistry at the school in Bristol, St Mary Redcliffe and Temple School. And I've known Dr. Arbone now for a long time. As he said, he started these workshops back in 2001. And I know a lot of acknowledgements will be made this week, but I think we need to acknowledge all the efforts that Dr. Arbone has put into making these workshops happen and to provide the exciting opportunities for young people in science. I want to thank the people who have taken on the task of running this workshop this year. So, particular thanks go to Mary Grace Browning, Ian Price, Professor Nomura, and for our Japanese colleagues, Mr. Sako. I'm going to thank all the UK teachers because behind the scenes, I know that they have to do a tremendous amount of work to also make things happen. So, my thanks go out to all of those. Thanks in advance to our facilitators and our project leaders. I'm not going to be able to name all of them, and I don't know if I can pronounce all of the names, but certainly I'm looking forward to all the exciting projects that the project leaders have proposed. One word of thanks for financial support from Clifton Scientific and for the sponsors that Eric mentioned earlier, Mitsubishi, the Great Britain Sasakawa Foundation, the Japanese Women's Association of Great Britain, Kyoto University of Education, and of course, Barclays Bank. Now, the main thing that I want to say just for a few minutes is to the students themselves. It's clear that a lot of people have made sacrifices to make these workshops happen, but they are really for the students themselves. What I was going to say, I sat down yesterday and I thought I need some inspiration to kind of get everybody fired up. And I looked at the periodic table because for me as a chemist, I think of everything in the world around me made up of different elements. And the first thing that I looked at that sort of stood out for me was if I took tellurium and americium, I could, I hope you can see this okay, I could make this word. So team, and all of you are in a project team. I went on to tantalum, sulfur and potassium. And again, I hope again you can see that, but you all have a task or a project.
A task.
A task, yep, or a project. I couldn't spell project with all of the letters of the periodic table. So there's a little poetic license here. The one thing I want to say about teams is it's not a competition. You are there to work with each other and everybody's contribution is valued. So the important thing within the team, okay, is for people to listen. So again, with my periodic table, I'm able to, with that. By listen, I mean listen to your project leaders, your facilitators, and importantly, listen to each other. Even the quietest members of the group have got important things to share. The number one thing in terms of communication, okay, is don't be afraid to ask. ask questions, all right? This is really the all important thing that will help you in your discovery, in your way to go about answering and finding out about your task. And by doing that, it will encourage you, and I hope again you can see this one, it will encourage you to think. Once you have those wheels in motion, then we can go on to something a little bit more adventurous, and you'll be able to carry out some research. And again, a very useful thing for the periodic table. Apologies, we also have bells here. At the end of the week, we are going to be getting you to show. And again, a very simple British word, which will really translate for you as making a presentation. So we look forward towards the end of the week when you will show us what you've found out. I'm going to leave you with 3 words now of encouragement, because the one thing that I think is important is that you enjoy what you're doing. And again, I couldn't spell the word enjoy, so we had to go with my favorite element, fluorine, followed by uranium and nitrogen. So please make sure that you have fun this week. It's important, okay? Finally, I am going to wish you luck. I hope you have good fortune and that things go well for you. And if any of the Japanese have struggled with the letters and the words that I put up, I've kept one last one, which I hope you'll just bear with me while I just put on this t-shirt. And this one, if you want to work it out in advance, comes from gallium, nitrogen, boron, argon, and oxygen. And that's just to say, Gambaro. So my friends in Tokyo gave me this, and I hope this could maybe be the motto for each of the rooms this week. When you start your workshops, I hope that this will be something that you might embrace. So it's kind of Gambaro, we can do this. So thank you very much for listening. And I look forward to coming into the workshops later in the day. Thank you, Eric.
Thank you very much, Patrick. And also you mentioned the teachers who've been very much involved in organizing this, I'm sure, in both countries. And this has been particularly difficult at this time of COVID-19. And so we're even more grateful for all the efforts that people have made. So we're doing well and in time. And thank you for all your speeches. I'm sorry that most of what we've done is just in English, but I hope the Japanese students have been able to follow. And I come on to a little talk for half an hour by Mr. Ryo Mizuta. Now, Ryo has been involved with us for some years. He is just completed his doctorate in engineering in Cambridge and is just waiting to have his final examination. And then he'll be a doctor, Mizuta. And he's going to be a facilitator in one of our projects, in Project One, but he's also very kindly offered to give a little introductory talk now. So over to you, Ryo.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Eric, for the introduction. I'm just going to share my screen. Right. Can people give me a thumbs up if they can see something?
Yes.
Yes, fantastic. Awesome. So thank you very much again, Eric, and obviously to Mary Grace, Nomura Sensei, and everyone who has been organizing this and giving me the opportunity to come back yet again to be a facilitator. So as Eric mentioned, my name is Ryo Mizuta. I am a sort of transitioning researcher at the University of Cambridge in the Department of Engineering in the Electrical Engineering Division. And I work in an area called nanoscience, nanotechnology. Come on to that later. And today I'm just here to give a short welcome talk, a short 30 minutes. Just getting you guys to think a bit about what research is. Okay. You'll see at the bottom, I've got a GB flag and a Japan flag. You'll have to bear with me. I'm going to be doing a bit of mixing and matching of English and Japanese, so please be patient. And I'll try and match the hype that Patrick has just created with his highly motivating speech. So I'll try and keep the energy. So on to the Japanese. 日本から参加されている学生さん、先生方、ようこそ。私、ミスター・リョウと申しまして、ケンブリッジ大学工学部電気工学科で、研究を行っています。今日はですね、この先30分ぐらいなんですけど、ちょっとしたウェルカムトークをやっていきたいと思うんですが、主に学生の方々に、研究ってどんな感じなのかっていうことを、皆さんと一緒に考えていこうと思います。さて、So, as I mentioned, we're going to talk a bit about what is research like, and I'm going to take it through a field that I know best. It's a broad area called nanotechnology. So I'm going to quickly start with what is nanotechnology, and then I'm going to use it as a reference to explain a bit about research. At the very end, I had some things to think about as scientists to give to you guys, but I think between Eric, Mary Grace, and everyone over the last 2 sessions, they have said everything I wanted to say, but I will say it anyway, again, just to stress it. Okay, so very quickly, let's crack on with a bit of nanotechnology. So nanotechnology has, has only one definition, but I see it getting misconstrued in media a lot. So I'm going to start with what is it? Okay, I wonder if people saw the Avenger movies and you would have seen Iron Man, Tony Stark, sporting a nanite suit. So he called it nanotechnology, where this sort of suit miraculously appears out of his arc reactor, like kapow. And he says, yeah, that's nanotech. Is that nanotechnology? Not quite, but we're moving in that direction. Okay, so let's take a step back and ask, what is nanotechnology? So I've got a ruler here, a very ominous ruler. And so nanotechnology, 1 nanometer, right? Nanotechnology derives from the term nanometer. And a nanometer is simply 10 to the minus 9 meters. So I've written it out explicitly there, but that's 0.000000001 meters. Very small. Okay, so all nanotechnology means is the science or the technology harnessing the power of small things on the nanometer scale. Okay, let us have a look at some things on my ruler just to compare and see where we are. So all the way at the top, at about 10 centimeters, we have our hand. Okay, and as we scale down a bit, actually scale down a lot, we have human hair. Human hair, particularly for Asians, is a bit thicker. It might be a bit thicker than maybe 100 micrometers. Maybe it goes down to about 10, but on the order of hundreds of micrometers, we have hair. Let's go down a bit further, 10 micrometers. Pollen, okay? The stuff that gives you grief in the spring and summer is about 10 microns. Go down even further and you have bacteria at about 1 micrometer. Visible light, I'm sure you know, spans about 400 to 700 nanometers. So we're into the nano regime. Go down even further and you're starting to look at DNA. So really, really small nanometers. And then you can go sub-nanometer when we're talking about atoms, right? Individual atoms. These are in the picometer, but we don't care about that. That's a bit too small for us. So what we're interested in nanotechnology is this range from between 1 nanometer and 100 nanometers. That's anything. It could be biological things. It could be inorganic things. Anything in this size we call nano. Okay. So why do we care about nanotechnology? I'm going to use an example. So this is a gecko, and geckos stick to the wall very easily. Well, a certain type of gecko, and a lot of it was a bit of a thing understanding how they stick to such smooth surfaces all the time. And if you zoom in on their fingers and zoom again, and then zoom again, you will find that on the nanometer level, they actually have these little hairs, nano hairs or spatula in this picture that allows them to grip very well onto even smooth surfaces. ここだけちょっと日本語で説明しますが、ヤモリ、皆さんヤモリはご存知だと思うんですけど、ヤモリは、平らな、壁とか、何でもいいんですけど、結構よくくっつくんですね。で、壁を登ったりすることができるんですが、それはどうしてっていうことを考えてみると、ナノテクノロジーが理由でして、手のひら、指の先っちょをズームして見ていただくと、小さなトゲトゲ、髪の毛がついてまして、それが、接着作用みたいなのを起こして、ポッと簡単に壁を登れるようにすることになってるんです。So what I'm trying to hint at here is that a lot of what we see on the nanoscale, what we call nano properties, ナノ性質, can influence what happens on the bigger scale. So the macro properties, things that you see day to day. Okay, so what we're interested in is connecting the two. What can we do on the nanoscale to influence the macro scale? Let's take a perhaps more closer to home example. So this is a Tesla, and I'm sure everyone knows Teslas these days. And obviously, the Tesla is an electric vehicle. So if you zoom in, you have your widely huge array of batteries, and each individual battery looks something like this. And if you look inside the battery, you will find many different nanomaterials. Okay, this is a lithium-ion battery specifically, and so there are materials, nanomaterials, that go into the electrodes, the electrolyte that goes between the electrodes. All of these are engineered on the nanoscale. Okay, so it's everywhere in society. ここに表示しているのが、テスラのモデル S 社なんですけど、テスラ電気自動車で、バッテリーを用いてるんですが、そのバッテリーはリチウムイオン電池でして、その電池の構造としては電極があって、その間に液体があるんですが、どの段階、どの部品も、ナノテクノロジーを用いた材料です。And there are other parts of nanotechnology probably already around you that you're not hugely aware of, or maybe you are. All of your smartphones currently use semiconductor electronics, which has been nano for over a decade now. Sunscreen, you may not know, but has nanoparticles to help block UV radiation. And even some food packaging currently has antimicrobial materials to help keep away, well, basically bacterial growth and keep your food for longer.
Silver.
Yes, exactly. Silver ions. Yeah, silver will kill off the bacteria. Exactly. So nanotechnology, just to briefly reiterate, it's just the science of very small things, and we use it to make materials on the larger scale have properties that we want, basically. We want to control the macro properties with the nano properties. Now, having done all this, I'm going to take a slight detour, and I'm going to come back to the nano theme. But first, I want to ask, what is research like? Okay, and at this point, I thought it would be quite good to get some audience participation. I know we're all very shy, but audience participation is good. So I'm going to do this interactively. I thought Zoom on its own was not enough of a risk, so I'm going to bring in yet another platform. I would like to answer 2 questions with you guys. Okay, what do you think researchers actually do? 研究者って実際何してるの? And second, what do researchers spend the most time doing? What do you think they spend the most time doing? 研究者は何に時間を一番費やすの? I'm going to answer these two questions, asking you guys for the answers. Okay? 皆さんにこの質問をちょっと答えてもらいたいと思います。So, could everyone on their phones or laptops please go to this website? Okay. So the website address. ここにちょっと行っていただきたいんですが、このまま入力してもらうとすぐ行けます。As soon as you get there, you should see this kind of a window. And it should ask you just for your name. If you could put your name in and press continue. Okay. このサイト行ってもらうと、すぐこの画面が表示されるんですが、名前を記入していただいて、ちょっと待機していてください。So once everyone is in, could you all just give me a virtual hands up so I know things are working?
You say students only.
Yeah, so yes, students only, please. I'm unfortunately running a free version and I have access number limits, so I might not be able to get everyone in.
Okay.
Okay, I see some hands. I see. ごめんなさい、日本の生徒たちも名前を入力して、この Continue を押した時点、そこまでいけたらちょっと手を挙げてください。Okay. まだかな？Or if you have any other problems, just let me know. Okay, I'm seeing more hands. This is good. This is good. Okay. I've got a lot of people with their cameras off, so I can't see if I don't know if you guys are raising your hand or you're virtually raising your hand. Be good if I could see your guys' faces. Okay, cool. So I see more hands, so that's good. So what's going to happen? I'm going to give you the first question. What do researchers do? Okay. 最初の第一問は研究者って何をするのです。So I would like you to write one answer. You only get one answer and press submit. Please think as broadly as you can. What do you think researchers do? 本当何でもいいです。本当研究者って何をしているかって、頭にポッと入ってくるもの何でもいいんで、入力して提出してください。So that's the first question. The second question is this one. Okay. What do researchers spend the most time doing? Okay. I have given you a few options, and I would like you to select the one that you think we spend the most time doing. Okay. 第2問は、研究者で何時間が一番費やすかなんですが、答えをいくつか表示してありますんで、その中から一つ選択してもらいます。一番時間を費やすものを選択してください。After you've selected, please click the finish on the top right. Okay, and hopefully we'll see this happen interactively. So if everyone is ready, I'm going to. No. Okay. Right. So I'm going to make it live now. Okay, everyone, please start writing your answers and submitting for the first question. Hopefully, the window to enter has just popped up. What do you think researchers do? Okay. We have a research things. Okay, we have experiments. ごめんなさい。日本の方もできるだけ英語でお願いします。日本語の方が良ければ日本語でいいんですけど、できるだけ英語でお願いします。Okay, I'm seeing. Okay, this is interesting. So, okay. This is the first time I used this platform, so I wasn't expecting such a format for displaying the words, but this is good. Keep coming. Keep them coming. Okay. Very good. Okay, so I see lots of experiments, lots of data. I see a panic. That's all actually very good. That's very correct. Okay, some communicate. Okay, very nice. I think, well, as the answers keep coming, this is good. We'll just have a look here. So most of the things here are very correct. Okay, I see a lot of words like exploring, doing the experiments, testing things, okay, testing your hypotheses, and that's all very correct. Okay, good. So let's try the next one then. So if I come out of that. So very good, very good. Let's try the next one. Oh wait, I should click that one. Doesn't matter. Give me a second. Question 2. Okay. Question 2. Okay, so for the next one, it's just going to be a simple multiple choice. So hopefully the next question has shown up on your screen and you should have the option to choose from these guys. Let's see what you guys think. Oh, we have a clear winner on the data analysis so far. Getting funding is trying to grow, but not quite. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, we have a strong contingency for writing papers and coffee breaks. Again, that's pretty realistic. Funding is making a move. Okay. See, let's just wait a few more seconds, but I think we have a clear winner. So the majority of you think I spend, or researchers spend, the most time on data analysis. 皆さん一番時間を費やすものはデータ解析だと考えておられるらしいですね。素晴らしいです。Okay, very good. So I think the numbers are stabilized. So let me just pull back to the PowerPoint. Okay, cool. So, yeah, okay. So I've put together, just for me, okay, this varies between subjects wildly. Okay, 分野によって非常に異なることがあるんですが、これは自分のものです。Before COVID, what percentage of things did I spend my time on? Okay, so actually the biggest should be lab work. Okay, the biggest should be lab work. You guys were very close. There is a lot of data analysis, okay? But there are also small things like writing, conferences, meetings, and of course, lots and lots of coffee. Okay, so you guys were not bad in putting coffee up there. That is actually pretty accurate. Unfortunately, with COVID, it's looking more like this, right? コロナ禍ですとこんな感じになっちゃいました。実験がなくなりました。I have no lab work during COVID, but I have more data analysis to do, okay? The one thing I want to point out here is how much time I feel like, or maybe I'm actually doing Zoom calls, Zoom 会議で1日の半分がなくなります。Half of my day goes to Zoom calls. On one hand, that's sad, but on the other hand, I think it highlights one important thing. Communicating your work to others is a big part of research. Okay, this often gets underestimated significantly. But if I look even before COVID, okay, meetings, conferences, talking to collaborators, even your lab work, all of these things put together in here, Zoom calls, it's all about communicating your work. Okay? 研究を他人に説明することは研究の大きな要素です。ね、ほぼ不可能です。説明とコミュニケーションを取らないと。なので、まあ、これはみんなの中ではさっきの表の中ではコミュニケーションはそんなに大きい要素ではなかったんですが、実際はもっと大きいです。Okay? It's much bigger than you guys surveyed to be. One of the big reasons why it's so important, cutting edge science is interdisciplinary. Okay? 最先端の研究は学際的です。So, you must collaborate with other researchers all the time. Okay? 共同研究は必須。So let's put that into context. Let's go back to our lithium-ion battery. Okay, 先ほどのリチウムイオン電池です。ね。So let's think about how you would develop this. First, you would make new nanomaterials. Okay, 新ナノ素材開発。This is chemistry, right? You would go into the lab and you might try different materials. Okay, you have to work in chemistry first. Okay, then you want to study. You want to characterize that material. Okay, how would you do that? That's material science. Okay, 材料科学. You want to be able to use techniques like microscopy to study your materials. That's another field. Then you want to make more of the stuff. 大量生産したい場合. Okay, this is chemical engineering. It's another field. And then finally, when you want to start thinking about applying as batteries, right? Or your 考える場合は, it's electrical engineering. Right? 電気工学. So as you can see, you have to speak many different subjects, many different languages, and talk to many people in many fields just to get a single battery up and running. Okay. So other minor things. Experiments usually fail. 実験は大体失敗します. Right? It could be simple as my little chemical reaction didn't work because things didn't mix. Or it could be that my results are different all the time. Yeah, but this is normal. And that's because no one has done it before. So research often has no correct answers. Okay? 研究は大体正解というものがないんです。誰もやったことがないから。Yeah. But obviously, when it works, and usually we like to think it will work, it's extremely rewarding. Okay? 成功した場合はとてもやりがいがあります。Okay. So with that in mind, I just want to think about some things that I want you guys to think about as scientists. Okay? 科学者として考えてほしいことがいくつかあります。So this might sound cliche, but I'm going to say it anyway. Life is an experiment. 人生は最大の実験です。If you don't experiment, you won't know the result. Okay? So 実験しないと結果はもちろんわかんないです。So please use this workshop as a place to experiment for yourself. Okay? このワークショップも実験台、大きな実験台として使ってみてください。Okay? And that's not just about science, about everything, about communicating, working with other people. Okay? Everything. Eric has been laboring this for the last 2 sessions, but don't be afraid to ask questions. Okay? 堂々と質問すること。This is extremely important, especially because this time you get to interact with not only 1, but 4 world-leading universities and researchers from them. Okay? 今回一つの大学ではなくもう4個揃ってこのワークショップに参加されているので、すごいチャンスだと思ってこの研究者方と接していってください。質問バンバン聞いていってください。Don't be afraid of being incorrect. Okay, share your ideas. I mentioned that research pretty much fails consistently. Okay, so you must not be afraid to be incorrect. Okay, アイデアはいつも怖がらずシェアしてください。Okay? 間違ってても大丈夫です。Here's just a quote saying, if you're not prepared to be wrong, you'll never come up with anything original. Okay? オリジナルな考えを生み出すには、間違ってて、間違いを恐れてれば全然進まないです。Okay? Next one, please work as a team. Okay? You're from different cultures, you have different languages, although I think there's a good English proficiency all around, but different cultures, and you're online. Okay, this is entirely new. You're going to have to communicate to do science online. So you must make an extra effort to communicate well. Okay? チームワークは不可欠。コミュニケーション能力は必須です。文化の違いとか言語の違い。また皆さんオンラインなんで、特に頑張っていただかないと、ちゃんとコミュニケーションは取れません。Finally, I would encourage you to think about what your goals are. Okay, maybe write them down. Just simple things like I want to be able to say something in Japanese, or I want to be able to do such and such. Okay, it can be a simple one-liner. Okay, but please write something down. 今回のワークショップにあたって、目標簡単でもいいんですけど、書いてみてください。もう本当に何でもいいです。一問で、この方と何か喋ってみたいとか、このことの説明をできたいとか、何でもいいんで、目標を考えてみてください。Okay. So that's all from me. Happy discovering. I hope I've labored the point that communication is really important. And I look forward to seeing you guys in the next week.
Fantastic, Rio. Many important points there about teamwork, about thinking for yourself, about questioning. And really importantly, we're not in competition with each other. We're working in competition, if you like, with the problem. And the end point will be the presentations at the end of the week. But there's no kind of competition between teams or anything of that sort.
So, sorry, just quickly, everyone, please put down your hands. You've all still got your hands up from the thing. Yeah, cool. Thank you.
Yeah, just we've got a few minutes spare. Are there any questions for Rio? Come forward. Any questions from the audience, especially from students?
I just wanted to ask about the applications to do with the technology that's been developed from geckos being able to stick to walls. I know there's been various glues developed from it, but I was interested to find out if anything else has been developed using that technology.
Right, that's okay. So geckos specifically, I don't actually know. You could broadly call this kind of tech nanostructuring. So it's essentially, it's not a chemical thing. You're basically adding physical features on the nanoscale, right, to achieve some kind of function. That has been used in many things, right? Do you know those gloves that if you put water droplets on, they literally bead up as a like a droplet and they just roll off super easily. It's called super hydrophobicity. And that is another example where physical structuring on the nanoscale gives you this sort of water repellent property. So that's already on the market, for example. That's the only one I can think of. That's because I'm on my first cup of coffee, but I'll get back to you if I think of more.
Thank you.
Any other questions? It's a good opportunity. You've just got a few minutes for this. From any Japanese, ask in Japanese if you wish.
I don't know if that's a hand from Yunosuke. 違うか? Okay, that's not a question.
Not a question.
日本人の方々、日本語でも大丈夫です。質問したければ。
Don't be shy. Or from teachers. You floored everybody.
Oh dear.
You floored everybody. Yeah.
Well, I'll be around, so please come back to me if you have questions.
So could I just ask what in your work, you're coming to the end of your doctorate, what have you discovered?
What have I discovered? I have not so much discovered, I've made a way to be able to observe processes in the nanoscale. So watching chemical reactions on the nanoscale in real time, particularly things that happen at high temperatures, so about 1,000 degrees, and in reactive gas pressures. So this is basically catalytic growth of materials, being able to visualize and understand fundamentally how materials grow catalytically. I made a microscope setup for that.
How they grow catalytically, as with forming crystals and things like this.
Yes, yep. It's essentially watching crystal growth, bottom-up crystal growth in real time.
Okay.
Eric, there are two questions, Dylan and...
Super, come ahead. So, Dylan, would you like to speak?
Yes, so what you were just talking about with the high temperature catalytic things, what are there any particular applications that you are maybe predicting that will be applied to yet?
Yeah, so that's a very good question. Do you know graphene?
Yeah.
Yes, okay. So I work broadly in an area called 2D materials, which includes materials like graphene. And the idea there is that they could be useful in the future for your next generation electronics. And they have a lot of promise, particularly in flexible electronics. The problem there is that making them en masse in high enough quality has not been achieved. Okay, so usually they need to be in semiconductor industry level. You need to grow them on inches on wafers, and nobody can do this. And the reason is we don't fully understand how to grow the materials. Okay, so the idea of my microscope is that I can probe fundamental aspects of the growth to enable this large area, large throughput production of these materials so that they can eventually be in your smartphones. Basically.
Yes, I didn't know that there's a problem about mass production.
Yeah.
How about that? And
there's a question from Mr. Lewis or Simon Lewis.
Simon?
Very interesting talk. I was wondering what you're thinking about doing next, because you said you were coming on to the end of your doctorate.
Yeah, I'm sticking around as a postdoctoral researcher for a bit, for a year, and I'm going to be working on science commercialization. So I'll be trying to get a startup going in basically something completely different, but wearable sensors for healthcare. That's an area that I'm going to sort of tangent to. Yeah.
Any questions from a Japanese student? Don't be shy. Any questions? Great shyness.
Saori-san, それ質問ですか?
In Japanese, okay?
はい、大丈夫です。
Yeah, of course.
実験をしてて嫌になることとかあったらどうやって乗り越えてるんですか?
Okay, so just to translate, she says, if you're doing your experiments and you get sick of your experiments, what do you do to, well, overcome getting sick? So I'll answer in Japanese first. そうですね。まあ、やり方いっぱいあります。一つはもう根性で乗り越えること。まあ、それもありますけど、まあ、いろんなことを試すっていうのは研究のメリットであって、一つのことがうまくいかなければ、まあ、例えば、友人に、あれこれちょっと相談したいんだけど、うまくいかないんだけど、つって打ち明けて、で、こんなこと試したらどうかっつって、他の他人のね、アイディアももらうことも、よく、まあ、これが大体のあれかな、対策法ですかね。他人からのインプットを聞く。で、やっぱりちょっと自分が考えてないことも試すっていう。で、うまくいきます。で、本当にダメな場合は、休憩取ってもいいです。ね、一回ちょっとストップして、これはちょっとやめにして、また戻ってくる。そういうのもできます。もう、本当自分次第です。So I just wanted to say, so you can get over problems, things are not working by just brute force, right? Just stick with it, embrace the suck, basically, and just go straight through. Other options are getting around. You talk to people for new ideas, or you can even take a step back, right? There's nothing stopping you. You can come back to this problem later. Okay, it's not, you have to keep going all the time. Saori-san, ありがとうございます. Thank you.
Haruto has raised his hand.
Please show your presentation about lithium-ion battery.
ごめんなさい、最初のところだけちょっと聞き逃したんですけど。
プレゼンテーションのリチウムイオン電池の、
はい、
パワーポイントのところを見せてもらっていいですかも。
はい。So he just wants me to show a bit of the PowerPoint. So I'm just gonna. どこら辺ですか？ここ？
いや、もうちょっと先です。
先？
あれ？
いや。
もうちょっと先です。そういう先じゃなくて、もうちょっと後ろの、don't mix. What does it mean, don't mix?
Okay. Okay. Yeah, okay, he's just asking what does the doesn't mix mean. 科学の教室でまあ、水に溶けないとか何に溶けるかって単にそれだけです。これグラフェンなんですけど、グラフェンって水にちゃんと溶けないんですよ。でまあ doesn't mix って書いちゃいましたけど。まあ、そういうことです。
Thank you.
What does RGO mean on that?
That is reduced graphene oxide. So it's a chemically modified form of graphene flakes, basically. It's to make it dissolve better in aqueous or, sorry, not necessarily aqueous, but other solvents, conducting material for batteries.
So you can have the graphene sheet and have it slightly oxidized.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Basically burn it a bit.
Still keeping its structure. Yeah. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. I think we're coming up to time really now. Any other last questions? I think that's a fantastic introduction, Rio. Absolutely fantastic. And I think the really important thing is not being afraid to question and working together. Really crucial things. And how you get over a bad day is you didn't mention coffee, which is one of the things that came up. Just go away.
Okay, sorry. Yes.
Go away,
yeah.
Do something else, have a cup of coffee and come back again. It was my sort of experience. Okay, now it's time now to, according to the schedule here, to have a group photo. Now, we didn't quite know how to do that. It's always a useful thing to have when
Eric, if I can interject here, it's not going to be possible.
About that, yes.
It's not going to be possible at the moment because quite a lot of people have not got their true faces. We've got some avatars, we've got various things. If we could put this off until Friday and do it then, and ask that on Friday, please, everybody shows their face and doesn't have an avatar, they have their actual face, and then we'll be able to do that.
Can't people put their picture on now?
I think it will take too long now, unless you want to do it. We then have to do screenshots of all the different screens. I think
what Toshio suggested. Would you like to say what your suggestion was, Toshio?
Just early this morning, Eric asked me what to do, so that's my quick thinking. After this, all students and some facilitators are going to their own projects. So I would like to ask all 5 groups, to take photos, their group photos, and later on submit to us. And anybody left behind, means like us who don't have the place to go first, we have our own group photos. That's what I submitted. I replied to Eric. So we have the 6 photos, group photos, and just merge together later.
So that means in the interim, while the transfer is taking place, those people who've got avatars rather than their true face need to change back.
Yes, I'm sure that when they move to their individual project groups, they will have their real faces. So
okay.
I think so if it's okay, but
well, we could let's try to do that if we can. And if we'll have a go at doing something on Friday. That's if we can do that, that'd be a good idea. Should we try it and see?
So that's after moving to their own project rooms, and then those who are left behind. That's another one. But I think number-wise, just it fit into one screen. So
it's always a useful thing to have. And we just wondered how when we're doing it face to face, and people appreciate it, and just wondered what we could do on this occasion. Okay, so now we're going to have a little break. I think that actually we don't exactly need a break. We can just go into our first workshop sessions with the students, the scientists, the facilitators, the teaching assistants, and get started. Could I make sure, do we have the scientists on board? The scientists from the group 1, project 1. This is Simon Crowhurst. I know Dr. Oriel Ray is on his way to Japan, on his way to Germany at the moment, where he'll be joining us tomorrow. Is Simon here?
I am, Eric. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, indeed. Geraldine Thomas, are you there?
Yes, yes, I am.
That's group 2. Ganesh, GP, is it?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah. I like to call GP. Yes.
Yeah,
Good.
please.
All the way from Kyoto, and all the way. I mean, you're very close to Kyoto, but you're a long way from us in England. And Anwar Suprasi, is he there? Anwar in Tohoku? Anwar, has he arrived?
Yeah, he was in.
Perhaps he's gone to his workshop room already.
Anyway.
And is Dr. Eva Higginbottom and Dr. Sally LePage here from Naked Scientist team?
Hello, we're here.
Hello.
Hi there, good to see you. So I think there's nothing stopping us now.
Professor Suprasi is here.
Okay, Professor Suprasi, could you just say something or make yourself known?
He may have stepped away from his machine. I'm asking him to unmute.
Okay. So what we will do now is we'll move into our project groups. We all know how to do that, and the facilitators will help. The teaching assistants will help. You'll be working in your project teams. You may be visited by others, particularly teachers, and myself and Mary Grace and whatever. When others do visit, we suggest that the visitors obviously do not take any part, and they mute and they switch their video off, so they're unobtrusive. And this will now continue until 11:30 UK time and 19:30 Japan time, when the formal session with the scientists ends, and hopefully you'll be given various things to do, because the session for the British students will continue for some hours, and Japanese students can also keep in touch if they want to. And then the Japanese students will start UK time very early in the morning, because it's late, it's afternoon in Japan, and we'll meet together again as one group tomorrow. Is there anything further to be said, Mary Grace?
I can't think of anything at this moment. No, we can interrupt them in their workshops if we think of something.
Okie doke, let's do it.
So can I just raise one point? Do all students know where to go? If you don't know, please let us know. 日本生徒の中で自分の行き先が分かんない人は聞いてください。特に昨日参加してない人は知らないかもしれないので。That's all. Yes, thank you.
Okay, let's go and let's get started. And very, very good luck. And it should be enjoyable, fun, and also really quite an exciting exploration. Let's do it.